Marine monitor systems have been deployed across the world's oceans to provide affordable and accessible technology for managing human activity in marine areas. Specifically designed to help fill existing gaps in both knowledge and access to resources, M2 has been a successful solution proven in the field since 2015.
To date, Marine Monitor has been deployed in over 20 locations in 7 countries and has been deployed in a variety of different applications. We've deployed systems on remote islands here in California, as well as in places like Palau, Ecuador, and American Samoa. And we've also deployed systems in heavily populated areas such as La Jolla and a crowded beachfront property.
To get the M2 radar installed at our Marine Safety Center, we created a memorandum of understanding between the city and ProtectedSeas and Wild Coast, all who had the interest of putting a marine radar here at the Swamis SMCA. And we took that to council with the recommendation that they approve the memorandum of understanding, and our council approved it. And as soon as that got approved, we got ready to install the M2 radar at Moonlight State Beach.
M2 brings together traditional tools like marine radar and cameras to provide a familiar method for monitoring vessels on the water. Repurposing these common technologies supports rapid deployment and training. M2 integrates these tools with custom software and AI to autonomously record and report on activity detected by the system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Monitoring vessel activity has a number of applications, such as fisheries management, enforcement of regulations, and measuring human impact on sensitive marine protected areas, or MPAs. While industrial fishing fleets and commercial ships commonly share their locations, smaller vessels like recreational fishing boats may go undetected. M2 helps further our understanding of these activities.
So the M2 radar is important to us as Marine Safety Division. It helps us in tracking and assisting local agencies with enforcing these state and federal regulations on both private and commercial fishing vessels. That also allows us to kind of track activity throughout our operational area, throughout different seasons. As you know, we have lobster season that we track, and this area becomes a very popular spot being on the edge of an MPA. So we can actually utilize the radar to track how much activity we're seeing in a certain time of year and help us not only plan what staff we need to help mitigate any situations, but which days are going to be busiest, and as managers of this beach, how we can fully staff and help serve any of the community that comes to us.
M2 empowers managers with data they can combine with expert local knowledge. In this way, they can use technology at an appropriate scale to support decision-making related to fisheries and human activity in general.
NOAA's Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary and the California Marine Sanctuary Foundation use Marine Monitor to better understand human activity and also vessel use within nearshore areas of interest, both in marine protected areas and also within NOAA's Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary. And Marine Monitor is really important and really helpful for the sanctuary and managers throughout the state, since Marine Monitor allows us to understand what vessels are doing in these nearshore areas that don't otherwise have a tracking system or data coming from them. There are a lot of fisheries in California that don't require certain tracking devices within the fishery, and so Marine Monitor allows us to fill this really crucial data gap to understand what human use is looking like within these important protected areas, and also if there's any suspicious fishing activity happening in certain areas where it shouldn't be.
To meet global conservation goals, it is essential that regulations put into place to protect and preserve marine ecosystems are enforced. M2 is a tool that can support existing enforcement by monitoring compliance and highlighting activity of interest, ultimately providing additional eyes on the water.
Global conservation combines the radar system with patrol support, smart technology, which is keeping track of all the patrols, allowing better planning, incident reporting, and really giving the managers of an MPA a set of systems and tools that they can use to do better protection and be more cost effective. A lot of marine protection is just hours and hours and days of driving boats, and that is not a way to protect MPA. It wastes gas, it wastes maintenance on boats, and really what you want to do is do targeted interdictions based on either volunteer reports from the community, from NGOs with binoculars, or sophisticated tools like marine radar and the ProtectedSeas software, which creates a virtual fence around the MPA. You see all traffic coming in and out, and they use artificial intelligence to manage the data so that only the most important alerts, i.e. An illegal fishing, is happening inside the MPA. And that is a very powerful system and very easy to use for MPA managers. Global Conservation supports the ProtectedSeas program to roll out marine radars across no-take areas, endangered marine protected areas, both in California, Hawaii, and 6 countries now. Places like Ternefe Atoll in Belize, Isla de la Plata in Ecuador. These are really important marine protected areas.
NOAA's Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary and the California Marine Sanctuary Foundation work in partnership with the ProtectedSeas team to manage a site on the west side of Santa Cruz Island at Christie Ranch. That site is completely remote. It's actually an M3 system, so it's powered by solar panels, also includes an AIS receiver, and gives us coverage within roughly 5 nautical miles of its location at Santa Cruz Island, and also gives us data from marine protected areas on and near Santa Rosa Island.
The locations that we're trying to monitor are often remote and hard to access. And so as a result, we've had to create solutions to enable ourselves to be able to deploy our technology to remote, hard to reach places. We developed the Mobile Marine Monitor, or M3, which is a trailerized portable system that incorporates an off-grid power system with a telescoping mast that houses our radar, antenna, and camera. These systems are transportable anywhere in the world and are currently active in 4 countries, with more to come in the future. As you travel further south to Mexico, and we have partners ProtectedSeas and Electra, who have also been early adopters of our technology.
We work right now in about 8 states in the whole Northwest, but the radars of the M2 system are placed right now in Baja California Sur, in Loreto, and in Cabo Pulmo, which are like very touristic places to meet. So we're very few rangers, so this helps us to identify ships in without being there physically, and everyone that has like the internet can be like watching what's going on.
Yes, here, yes,
in Cabo Pulmo, they cannot do anything but tourism. They cannot do any kind of fishing. So we know if it's in the middle of the night, it's not going to be tourism because they are not allowed to.
Our valued partners, who are early adopters of this technology in California and Mexico, have helped us to further develop today's M2 and M3 systems. Now the Marine Monitor is at work in Ecuador and the northern reefs of Palau.
My name is Junior Tamong, and I am Maralong State Division of Conservation and Law Enforcement Coordinator. Maralong is 197 square kilometers marine area, and about 42 square kilometers of it is protected areas. The main threats we face today as enforcement officers for along the CLE is mainly poachers, as well as effects of climate change. With a partnership of One Reef, we had an M2 radar, and it's a very good tool to use.
Ocean is a data poor environment, and any piece of information that we can produce regarding the ocean and human use around it is valuable. So what we have done is created a tool to collect that data and provide deeper understanding in how the marine environment is being used, which then can inform decision makers like resource managers or law enforcement on how to best manage and protect these special places.
In December of 2020, Fish and Wildlife officers patrolling Swami's State Marine Conservation Area approached the commercial passenger fishing vessel Electra. The passengers were observed to be illegally fishing inside the MPA. The Electra's owner was cited, prosecuted, and successfully convicted. The case was solidified with further documentation of the vessel's presence in the MPA via the shore-based radar marine monitor vessel tracking system.
In dealing with the Electra case, my partner was fairly small, being the on-duty supervisor the day that Fish and Wildlife made their bust and issued their citations. I was able to access all the footage and tracking data from the M2 radar, and I was able to provide photos of Fish and Wildlife actually interacting with the Electra vessel in the MPA. That mixed in with the GPS coordinates of everything that M2 provides them, they were able to use that as evidence in their case against the Electra.
There's hundreds of marine protected areas being established by different organizations and governments, but very little resources or technology or organizational capacity given to these marine protected areas to actually protect them. So what ProtectedSeas is actually putting the P, capital P, into protection for marine protected areas. It's such an important role. It's a very low-cost technology.
Technology is becoming a key component of monitoring the ocean, and it is important that the scale is appropriate for managers to use effectively. At the local level, M2 provides an affordable tool without compromising available benefits from existing and new technologies. So M2 will adapt and incorporate new technological developments as the fleet of M2 systems continues to grow worldwide.
We first developed Marine Monitor as a tool to better manage and enforce marine protected areas, but over time we've realized that there are other applications and use cases for our technology. For example, the U.S. Coast Guard can use it for search and rescue efforts. The Department of Homeland Security can use it for drug smuggling or human trafficking, and science and research can use it to better understand how the marine environment is being used. One interesting example is the data that we've collected has informed how vessels are actually following regulations correctly and fishing close to the marine protected area. The reason for this is likely because the increased biodiversity and biomass of these areas has resulted in an increase in number of fish in the protected area, and as a result there's the spillover effect, or more fish to be fished around the borders. With our system we've been able to monitor this activity and actually see how these vessels are fishing the line and benefiting from the protection of this natural resource.
Weather stations are also integrated with M2. Weather data provide context for vessel activity, allow users to monitor live conditions for maritime safety, and are a valuable data point in remote locations. M2 expands our understanding of activity and human impact in hard-to-monitor areas with low impact on the ground and minimal resources, ideal for managing sensitive areas.
For Encinitas, the residents and the visitors here are really in tune with the marine ecosystem. I feel they have a deep connection to the coastline here and really desire a healthy marine ecosystem. So supporting the MPA with the M2 radar is a high priority for the residents, visitors, and our council of the city.
Local M2 systems benefit from the power of cloud computing, In this age of big data, M2 uses machine learning to help point users to important activity so they can quickly find meaning in the data collected, also making M2 a powerful tool for analysis and data interpretation.
So much of conservation work is driven by data and needs to be driven by data. In order to protect marine protected areas and marine regions, we need to understand trends and what's happening. We need to understand the scale and the nature of the problems that exist in those areas. And the marine monitor systems give us the ability to get better data to fill those data gaps that currently exist for resource managers within California and other areas globally, so we can actually understand and quantify vessel activity in places where we normally wouldn't get data.
With vital ocean protections in place and expanding, we aim to make conservation technology more accessible and equitable throughout the world with the help of Marine Monitor.
It can be difficult to introduce new tools and new technologies into resource managers' worlds and have them integrate new tools into their protocols and their procedures. With the Marine Monitor system, it's been incredibly helpful that the site and the viewer that comes with Marine Monitor is incredibly intuitive. It's really allowed the wardens that we work very closely with within California to be able to feel comfortable logging in and not just visualizing data, but also being able to download data if they'd like to do further analyses.
The big problem is that we don't have any fish left, and the sharks are all being killed. The manta rays and the rays are all being taken. We're setting up MPAs, and there's no fish in the MPAs. So these are being wiped out. The entire Caribbean is gone. Can't find a place other than Cuba where we can actually protect any intact marine ecosystems. So what we're really looking to do is find the best marine protected area managers, the best places that can can do the monitoring, surveillance, and patrolling now. Most of the MPAs are empty. There's no boats, there's no rangers, and it's just on paper. It's called a paper park. And we want to change that situation and get real active patrolling based on real information from good technology like Marine Monitor, ProtectedSeas, and communities taking care of their own places. So I think that's our vision is really to get this ramped up to hundreds of endangered marine protected areas in the next 10 years. And we hope that you'll join us.